Hey everyone, welcome to Talk, the podcast where we're talking about technology and communication, social media, and how they affect our daily lives. I'm your host,
Mark Anthony Odarve.
and today we are really interesting topic that almost everyone can relate to: social media and identity. Have you ever noticed that people sometimes act differently online compared to real life? Like someone who's very quiet in person but super confident on Instagram or TikTok. So today, we're going to talk about this question. How do people present themselves? Different online versus offline. Do social media profiles really reflect our real life identity? And what are the risks of online self-presentation? To help us understand this topic better, I invite our guest today, who's also a CMC researcher. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. Honestly, I'm excited because this topic is super relevant today, especially for students and young people who use social media every day.
Exactly. I feel bad. I feel like social media has become part of our identity now.
That's true. People post photos, stories, opinions, achievements, even moods online. Sometimes social media feels like a digital version of ourselves.
Okay, question number one. Why do people act different online? So question. Why do you think people present themselves differently online compared to offline?
Honestly, I think social media gives people more control over how they want others to see them. In real life, interactions happen quickly, but online, people can edit pictures, think carefully before replying, delete posts, or choose only the best parts of their life to share.
That's true. Like people usually post happy moments more than usually moments. Three, go.
Exactly. Most people want to create a good image online. For example, someone might look very confident on Instagram because they post nice selfies, travel pictures, or funny videos. But in real life, they could actually be shy or insecure.
I've noticed that too. Some people are super active online, but very quiet in school.
Yes, and that's actually connected to CMC, Computer Mediated Communication Research. Research says people often manage their online identity carefully. They choose what information to show and what to hide.
So basically, social media becomes like highlight reel for someone's life.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to explain it. People usually post achievements, fun moments, attractive pictures, or exciting experiences, but they don't always post failures, sadness, or personal struggles.
Okay, next question is, do you think social media profiles actually reflect someone's real identity?
Um, Honestly, yes and no. I think social media profiles show part of someone's identity, but not the full picture. For example, if someone posts art, music, gaming content, or study videos, those interests are probably real, but at the same time, they might still hide certain emotions, problems, or personality traits.
So that makes sense. And honestly, that's normal. Even real life people act differently depending on who they were or with. Like how students behave differently with friends, family, or teachers. And actually true. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, identity changes depending on the situation, but social media makes it easier to create an ideal version of yourself. For example, using filters, editing photos, pretending to have a perfect life, acting richer or happier than reality.
I feel like TikTok and Instagram really increase that pressure sometimes.
Definitely, a lot of people compare themselves to influencers or online creators. Sometimes it affects confidence and mental health because users feel like their lives are not good enough.
Yeah, especially students. Sometimes people feel pressured to look perfect online.
Exactly, that pressures become unhealthy.
Okay, let's move to the another question. So let's talk about the risk now. What are the dangers of online self-presentation?
There are actually many risks. One major risk is fake identity or pretending to be someone else. Some people completely change who they are online to gain attention, popularity, or validation.
Like catfishing?
Yes, exactly. Catfishing is when someone uses fake pictures or fake information online to trick other people. And honestly, that can become emotionally harmful, especially in online friendships or relationships.
Oh, that's scary honestly.
It really is. Another risk is oversharing personal information online. For example, posting private details, sharing locations, posting everything publicly. Sometimes people forget that strangers can also see their posts.
That's true. Once something is online, it can spread very fast.
Exactly. Screenshots exist forever.
That's so true.
And another issue is seeking validation. Some people depend too much on likes, comments, and followers for self-esteem. So, if their post doesn't get enough attention, they feel insecure or sad.
I've noticed that too, especially when people delete posts if they don't get enough likes.
Yeah, social media sometimes affects how people value themselves.
Okay, because next question is, how do you think social media change communication and identity today?
I think it changed human interaction completely. Now, people can connect instantly through Messenger, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, and many other apps. Social media helps people express themselves creatively and connect with communities that share the same interests.
Exactly, in gaming communities and fandoms.
Exactly. For example, someone who loves drawing, gaming, music, or anime can easily find themselves online friends with similar interests. That actually one positive effect of CMC. It helps people feel connected and understood.
That's true. Sometimes online communities become safe spaces for people.
Yes, especially for shy people or students who struggle socially offline. Online communication can help them become more confident.
But at the same time, too much social media can also affect real life interaction, right?
Definitely, sometimes people become too focused on online image instead of real life relationships. Like people hanging out together, but everyone is just scrolling through phones.
I've seen that too many times.
Same.
Alright, before we end, let's quickly summarize today's discussion. Today, we talk about how people often present themselves differently online compared to offline. We also discussed online identity, social media profiles, filters and edited image, and pressures to look perfect online, fake identities and catfishing, oversharing information, validation through likes and followers, and how social media affects communication today.
And honestly, I think the biggest lesson is that social media only show part of a person's identity, not the whole person.
I agree. Social media can help people express themselves, and connect with others. But it's also important to stay authentic and careful online. And that's the end of today's episode of Talk to Talk. Thank you for so much of our guest researcher for joining us today.
With this conversation.
And thank you to everyone listening. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion about social media and identity. Remember, think before you post. Stay safe online and don't compare your real life to someone else's highlight reel. See you next time on Talk to Talk.